My window. There we go. Ha! I am live. I'm alive. It's been a little while since I went live. Little bit of a appendicitis, you know, happens to the best of us. Feeling better though, so that's good. Anyway, back with reading again. We are on chapter 3 of the first book of Nephi. Back here again. I had some thoughts and I'm trying to remember what they were. Oh, good. Yeah, well, I don't have a game running, so the audio should be good. Um, as long as the mic is doing well. Um, but anyway, I was saying I had thoughts. Dang it. Let me think for a minute here. I gotta pull up so I can monitor stuff. There we go. Okay. Thoughts. I had thoughts today when I was washing the dishes. I was thinking about things. And I had a thought that occurred to me that I wanted to share, and now I can't remember what that thought was. It's frustrating me. Thought loading. I haven't played with my buttons very much. That's embarrassed. That's not the. No, that's starry-eyed. That's not what I wanted either. Nope, hard eyes. Nope, definitely not. Right. There we go. Ah, brain is blank. Ah. Oh, I didn't realize it did that. Oh, that's really funny. Oh, that's funny. Um, hmm, blank brain. Um, I thought, and maybe I'm wrong, and if someone can show me that I'm incorrect, go for it. I get the impression of Nephi that he is rather arrogant. That's my personal how he comes across in to me in this writing is that he's quite arrogant, and his it's I, Nephi, am so amazing. My father had these dreams, and no, I'm not going to tell you what the dreams were. No. But I will tell you that I, Nephi, was awesome because I listened to my father and my brothers, uh, Laban and Lemuel, were terrible, and they did not listen to our father, but I was the good brother, and I listened. Maha. Um, which comes across to me as arrogance and pride. Um, and also I think kind of goes along with the modern Mormon um talking point, which is often we are such nice people. We are just the nicest people. And you can tell that our religion is correct because we're just so nice. And obviously, if we weren't so nice, then our religion would be wrong. But we're just so nice. aren't we good people for being nice? And I think that it's meant to be a, hey, look at what good people we are, don't we bear good fruit? And the good fruited Christian, or the good fruited people, obviously they're correct. Their religion is correct, which is just not how we look at whether or not a religion is true or not. Yes, as Christians, we believe that we do good works because we are Christians. But we're not supposed to go around bragging about how good we are or look at what good things we do. In fact, we're supposed to be humble. And most of the biblical prophets that I can think of were very humble. Isaiah says, I am a man of unclean lips. Um, David, anytime David is arrogant, God humbles him and says, hey, you, David, what are you doing? Why are you being such a jerk? You know, like, and David wasn't a prophet anyway. David was king, but still, he's humbled by God. God humbles him multiple times. I'm trying to think of other prophets. I just can't think of many prophets that were asses. Samson? Maybe? Samson was a judge, which is kind of like a prophet, but not really. Judges and prophets are different. But maybe Samson. Samson was an idiot. Samson, you know what Samson was? Samson was a very strong man who was not very bright and only cared about the hot ladies. Samson was. I can't think of the word. Oh my gosh, I can't think of the word again. What's the word? Himbo. Himbo. Samson was a himbo. I got it eventually. I got it eventually. Yay! Himbo. Himbo. Samson was a himbo. And ultimately, that's, I mean, yeah. But anyway, I can't think of, like, Jeremiah wasn't, Hezekiah, Hosea. Oh man, Hosea was definitely not, a proud man. I don't think you could be proud, and be Hosea. I just can't think of many prophets who were prideful. Who weren't then humbled in their pride. And maybe Nephi here will be humbled. I have not read ahead. Who is the prophet who proclaimed the opposite of the other prophets? Oh, yes, dear. The lying prophet. But the prophets were all given lying tongues by God. That was God's doing on purpose to provoke the king to go to battle. That was the entire point of that prophet, the lying prophet. But yeah, I just can't think of a prophet who was quite like Nephi. Now I'm gonna try to see if I can't. Oh good, I can make the font. Are you serious? I can make the font bigger, but I can't make it wider. Can I make it wider? I can change the font. I don't want to change the font. I want... I want it wider, not bigger. Oh, how did you do that?
Control plus. It zoomed in your entire browser, so every website you go to is going to be blown up.
You are magical. Thank you, dear.
Well,
Anyway. Here we go. Just a second. Going to that. There we go. Okay. So, now that my dearest husband has made the picture bigger picture, yay! He's just so wonderful. Just the best. He's the best. I'm gonna play with my buttons when I remember that I have them. I'm gonna play with them. Anyway, okay. So we're back with Nephi. So this one says that Lehi's sons returned to Jerusalem to obtain the plates of brass. I thought that the plates were gold. But maybe these are different plates, or maybe they become gold later. I don't know, but I haven't heard of the brass plates. Brass plates may not be a very good way to save important documents, because brass tarnishes, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure brass tarnishes. Brass tarnishes. So maybe that was the problem. Anyway, let's see what happens. Laban, naughty boy. Laban refuses to give the plates up. Nephi exhorts and encourages his brethren. Laban steals their property and attempts to slay them. Laban and Lemuel smite Nephi and Sam. Sam, the forgotten one. We forgot about Sam. I totally forgot there were 4 of them. I just thought there were 3 because I forgot about Sam. Oh my gosh, I'm chugging bad. Oh, that looks really bad. Anyway, slay them, smite Nephi and Sam, and are reproved by an angel. Oh my gosh, Nephi's gonna die. How are there 3 more books of Nephi if he dies? Right? There are 3, right? 4 books of Nephi. Yeah, there's 4 books of Nephi. So if Nephi dies in chapter 3 of the first book, how are there gonna be 4 books of Nephi? We must find out. About 600 to 592 BC, again with our timeline. Old Testament timeline. Now, there's 2 reasons why I'm comparing to you by 2 Electric Boogaloo, right? There's 2 reasons why I'm comparing to the biblical timeline. And it's not just because I believe the Bible is true. Because I do. The Bible is true. But it's also because there is archaeological evidence for cities towns, people, kings, and multiple cultures that are mentioned in the Bible. We have those. We have those things. We have. I think it's called the Moabite stone. I think it's called the Moabite stone, and that is an archaeological find that is dated to the time, and mentions. I think it's a battle, right? Yes, it's a battle that's mentioned in the Bible. That then is mentioned on this stone that was dug up and has been dated to the time that the Bible says that the battle happened. So, and then there's archaeological evidence for Babylon and Assyria, um, and all these other cultures that are mentioned by the Bible in the time frame that archaeological finds back up the time frame that the Bible says. So that's why I'm going with the biblical timeline, because we have archaeological evidence, and one of those things we have archaeological evidence for is the Babylonian captivity, which is around this time. Yes. So that's why I'm going with the biblical timeline. Um, and not um, Old Testament Babylonian captivity. So the Babylonian captivity is Babylonian exile time 605 to 538, and Nephi takes place 600 to 592. So it lines up right. So that lines up in this time frame here. And the restoration isn't until 539-ish and following. And remember, BCE goes down as time goes on, and AD goes up as time goes on. So the older something is, the higher the number, the newer something is, the lower the number, which messes my brain up because it's numbers. And if I see numbers, I go, oh, hey, numbers. Anyway, so we're during sometime during the beginning of the Babylonian exile between 605 BCE and that's my channel. 592. So, wait a second. I'm going back. Prophesies the destruction of Jerusalem. Wait, wait. So, I think I went over this the first time when I read chapter 1. I think I went over this the first time, that this timeline doesn't. Sorry, I gotta get my light over here so my tracking's better. This timeline doesn't make sense. I'm still trying to understand the the timeline, and it's not making sense to me. Okay, so does mention the captivity of Babylon, which I think we've discussed before, but this is 5 years after? I don't know this website. I don't. We'll go. Okay. I guess the first question I have is, can we pin down when the Babylonian captivity began? What year was Jerusalem destroyed? Is that firmly pinned down? Like, can we give that a firm date? Is my question. Because the claim of the Book of Mormon is that happened in that the destruction of Jerusalem, it says about 600 BC. And then the other question I have is, are these notes here, are those a part of the official canon of the Book of Mormon, or were these added later as like an explanation? Because like in the Bible, the chapters and chapter number or verse numbers are not canonical. They were added later to help excuse me. That was rude. Sorry. Chapters and verses were not original to the Bible. The Bible didn't have them. It's something that we added later so that scholars could go and say, this verse, this chapter, for easier referencing. So it's not like chapters and verse numbers are sacred. So what I want to know, and the Bible does have some of these like notes here, but they are part of the text, part of the original text. Like in the Psalms, you'll see like it'll say like David, the Psalm of David, or something like that, and it'll have like this little like italicized text. Do I have my study Bible? I need to think of like an example. Yeah, so like, let's go to Bible Gateway. Penny. I love Bible Gateway. Use it all the time. Passage Psalm 66, because that's what I opened to. Bible just kind of flipped there. Whoop. So yeah, like this Bible has these. I don't think that the chapter headers or the titles, I don't think those are original to the text either. I think that the text just went through. I could be wrong. I have been known to be wrong. But I don't think that those, yeah, I'm pretty sure like the chapter titles are not original, because like when you're writing on stone tablets or you're writing on papyri, you only have a certain amount of space, and so you're not going to use it to you're not going to use it for titles and numbers when they're not necessary. So that's a question I have for the Book of Mormon. Does how would I look that up? Book of Mormon chapter titles part of the canon. Okay. So they aren't a part of the official canon. Okay, that's important. So is there official merch timeline? Let's see if we can get a timeline. Okay, this is their official site. Okay, so okay, so here we go. 600. Mulek. These names, they make me giggle. 600 BC. Left Jerusalem in 600 BC. Did Nephi write the book of Nephi? Or did he... We need to learn more about Nephi. We need to learn more about Nephi because if he's a scribe, how did he escape going to Babylon? Is that a question I can get? Why didn't Nephi go to Babylon? But it was already destroyed. right? Okay, and I know I'm using Wikipedia. You can go down to the bottom. The thing about Wikipedia is you can find the sources for Wikipedia at the bottom of the page, and that's what Wikipedia is good for. But for now, we're just going to use Wikipedia. Because it's a source that's not necessarily Bible friendly as well. So let's see. I'm sure this is just riveting. Best streamer, riveting, riveting content. Okay, so this puts the siege of Jerusalem and the leaving about or the exile beginning in 597, and then more expulsions 587 after it was destroyed. Okay. It was besieged. Siege Jerusalem, which resulted in tribute being paid to the Judean king Jehoiakim. In 601 BCE, Jehoiakim refused to pay further tribute, which led in 598-597 BCE to another siege of the city by Nebuchadnezzar, which culminated in the death of Jehoiakim and the exile to Babylonia of his successor, Jeconiah's court, and many others. In 587, Nebuchadnezzar destroyed Jerusalem and exiled successor Zedekiah and others. 582. Okay, so besieged 605, 601. Another siege in 598, 597. And that's when the first exiles start. So I wouldn't say, well, okay. Anyway, I've been messing around with timelines and stuff. I need to get reading. Because that's what I'm here to do. And I need to get on it. So, Chapter 3. And it came to pass that I, Nephi, returned from speaking with the Lord to the tent of my father. And it came to pass that he spake unto me, saying, Behold, I have dreamed a dream, in which the Lord hath commanded me that thou and thy brethren shall return to Jerusalem. For behold, Laban hath the record of the Jews, and also a genealogy of my forefathers, and they are engraven upon plates of brass. Do we have other examples of genealogies being engraved on plates of brass, or any book engraved on brass, like a long book. Wherefore the Lord hath commanded me that thou and thy brothers should go unto the house of Laban and seek the records and bring them down hither into the wilderness. And now behold, thy brothers murmur, saying, It is a hard thing which I have required of them, but behold, I have not required it of them, but it is a commandment of the Lord. Therefore go, my son, and thou shalt be favored of the Lord, because thou hast not murmured. Okay, so, Nephi, you didn't complain. So, you're favored, because you didn't whine. Unlike Joseph, right? Brothers hate him. And it came to pass that I, Nephi, said unto my father, I will go and do the things which the Lord hath commanded. For I know that the Lord giveth no commandments unto the children of men, save he shall prepare a way for them, that they may accomplish the thing which he hath commanded them. And it came to pass, 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 that's this chapter, that when my father heard these words, he was exceedingly glad, for he knew that I had been blessed of the Lord. And I, Nephi, and my brethren took our journey in the wilderness with our tents to go up to the land of Jerusalem. And it came to pass that when we had gone up to the land of Jerusalem, I and my brethren did consult one another, and we cast lots, who of us should go in unto the house of Laban. And it came to pass that the lot fell upon Laman. Oh my gosh, I'm going to mess up these names. And Laman went into the house of Laban, and he talked with him as he sat in his house. Why would you send Laman when he was the one who was like whining that it was too hard? Why'd you cast lots? Why didn't you just send Nephi? Nephi's the blessed one. Jeez. And he desired of Laban the records of which were engraven upon the plates of brass, which contained the genealogy of my father. And behold, it came to pass that Laban was angry, and thrust him out of his presence, and he would not that he should have the records. Wherefore he said unto him, Behold, thou art a robber, and I will slay thee. But Laman fled out of his presence, and told the things which Laban had done unto us, and we began to be exceedingly sorrowful, and my brethren were about to return unto my father in the wilderness. Behold, I said unto them, that as the Lord liveth, and as we live, we will not go down to our father in the wilderness until we have accomplished the thing which the Lord hath commanded us. Wherefore, let us be faithful in keeping the commandments of the Lord. Therefore, let us go down to the land of our father's inheritance. For behold, he left gold and silver and all manner of riches, and all he hath done because of the commandments of the Lord. For New Jerusalem must be destroyed because of the wickedness of the people. For behold, they have rejected the words of the prophets. Wherefore, if my father should dwell in the land, that after he hath been commanded to flee the land, behold, he would also perish. Whereof it must needs be that he flee out of the land. I'm just having a hard time with this language. The language just bothers me. Really, really bothers me. Where was I? And behold, it is the wisdom in God that we should obtain these records, that we may preserve unto our children the language of our fathers. Which language is that? Is it Hebrew? Because that's what the language of his fathers would have been. That's this weird thing. Weird. I also want to know what the purpose of. So the purpose of the Jews is to bring the Messiah into the world. So God separates the Jews it separates Israel from the rest of the world's population, because they are to be a separate people whose sole purpose is to bring about the Savior. That's the purpose of the Israelites. So what is the point of this new people? Why is God separating these people from Israel? Okay. And also that we may preserve unto them the words which have been spoken by the mouth of all the holy prophets, which have been delivered unto them by the Spirit and the power of God, since the world began, even down unto this present time. And it came to pass that after this manner of language did I persuade my brethren that they might be faithful in keeping the commandments of God. And it came to pass that we went down to the land of our inheritance, and we did gather together our gold and our silver and our precious things. And after we gathered these things together, we went again unto the house of Laban. His father left all of his stuff behind, but yet the brothers go and get it? But I thought they left it. If they left it, wasn't it not theirs anymore? Or had they not, like, left? So they still had all these riches and stuff available to them? And after we gathered these things together, we went up again unto the house of Laban. And it came to pass that and it came to pass, and it came to pass, and it came to pass. I'm sorry, this is written terribly. It just bothers me. It came to pass that when we went unto Laban and desired him that we would give unto him us the records which were engraven upon the plates of brass, for which we would give unto him our gold and our silver and all our precious things. So we're going to bribe him. And it came to pass that when Lana came, oh my, it's every single. That when Laban saw our property, and that it was exceedingly great, he did lust after it, insomuch that he thrust us out and sent his servants to slay us, that he might obtain our property. And it came to pass that we did flee before the servants of Laban, and we were obliged to leave them behind our property, and it fell into the hands of Laban. And it came to pass that we fled into the wilderness, and the servants of Laban did not overtake us, and we hid ourselves in the cavity of a rock. And it came to pass that Laman was angry with me, and also with my father, and also was with Lemuel, for he hearkened unto the words of Laman. Wherefore Laman and Lemuel did speak many hard words unto us, their younger brothers, and they did even smite us with a rod. Oh, okay, so smite doesn't mean kill. Smite just means hit? What? Okay. And it came to pass, as they smote us with a rod, behold, an angel of the Lord came and stood before them, and he spake unto them, saying, Why do ye smite your younger brother with a rod? Know ye not that the Lord hath chosen him to be a ruler over you, and because of your iniquities? Behold, ye shall go up to Jerusalem again, and the Lord will deliver Laban into your hands. And after the angel had spoken unto us, he departed. And after the angel departed, Laman and Lemuel began to murmur, saying, How is it possible that the Lord will deliver Laban into our hands? Behold, he is a mighty man, and he can command 50, yea, even he can slay 50, then why not us? Problems. I have a lot of problems with this chapter. Let's just start with the wording. oh my gosh, this book is terribly written. It's not well written. It's not beautiful. It's not it's not poetic. It's 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 bad. It's bad. I'm not going to say the Bible is true because it's well written or because it's beautiful. But I can't think of a part of the Bible that is written like this. That is this bad. And, and, and it came to pass, and it came to pass, and after. Every single paragraph starts with and. Except for a few, which begin with for and but. And, and, and. It's so bad. And it doesn't sound like it doesn't read like something that's been translated. Does that make sense? Because like when you read something that's been translated from another language, depending on how it was how the translation was done, it sounds like something that's been translated. Like if I pull one of my Russian novels off the book, like let's say I pull off Crime and Punishment. Let's say you read the Penguin Classic version of Crime and Punishment. It reads like it's been translated from Russian. There's still some anachronistic. There's vestiges of the original Russian, even in the English version, because you can't translate properly. There's not words that translate right from Russian to English, or from Hebrew to English, or Greek to English, or Aramaic to English. There's some weirdness about it, depending on how it's been translated. Because, like, there's bad translations too. The Message is a paraphrase, it's not really a translation. The New World Translation, that's a really bad translation. It's not even a translation, because arguably it's not a translation. The King James Version has problems with the translation, but that's a problem into itself. A different kind of problem. More transcription errors than anything. This does not sound like a translation. And if this is supposed to occur in this time period, then currently Jerusalem, the place where these boys are going, is under siege by Nebuchadnezzar. And people are being sent to Babylon. How long did this chapter take? I just have a lot of problems with it. I have a lot of problems with it. Oh, I remember what I was thinking about when I was washing dishes. So, one of the arguments against how I'm reading this book is gonna be that I came into the book reading it as a skeptic, and that I did not come in here and read the book openly and praying to God that He would tell me whether or not this book is true. And I'm gonna say by the end time I'm done reading this book, I'm not gonna be a Mormon. I'm sorry, I'm not. That's not the point of reading this book. The point of reading this book is because I, if I'm gonna argue against something, I should probably read it. And that's the point of this entire exercise, is for me to get familiar with the Book of Mormon so that, you know, I can say, yeah, I read it. I read it. It's a terribly written book. I hated reading it because it was so badly written and it was so frustrating to read that it took forever to read it, because this is going to take forever. It just is. It is. Welcome to Mormon Mondays. That's what this is. It's Mormon Monday. Um but but if the only way you can tell a book is true is if you pray hard enough that God tells you that it's true, that's circular reasoning. The book is true because God tells you it's true. And if God doesn't tell you it's true, well, then you didn't pray hard enough. And you weren't sincere enough in your prayer in order to know whether or not it's true. You have to be sincere and open and willing to hear God to know whether or not it's true. And so there's no way to prove or to show that it's not true other than praying to God and God revealing to you in your heart of hearts that the Book of Mormon is true. And so you go in the circle of, well, the Book of Mormon is true because God told me it was true. How did God tell you it was true? Well, I prayed about it. Okay, well, I prayed about it, and God didn't tell me that it was true. God told me it was false. So what else do you have? You have nothing. You cannot, that is not an argument. It's a circular reasoning that's meant to basically tell people you're not trying hard enough. You're not being sincere enough. You didn't do it the right way. If you did it the right way, then you would know it was true. And because you think that it's false, you did it wrong, and it's not. You're not doing it right. And you need to do it again. That was an argument I saw on Twitter. That oh, I read the Book of Mormon. Someone said, I read the Book of Mormon and I prayed about it, and God did not say it was true. God did not tell me, oh yes, the Book of Mormon is true. And then the Mormon reply was, well, you need to read it again and you need to pray again because you didn't do it right the first time. That's not how God works. That's not how the Lord works. You as a Lutheran, I don't believe that prayer is measured in how sincere you are. God hears prayers whether you mean them sincerely in your heart or you don't. God always hears our prayers. Always. Because He promises to in His Word. He asks us to pray to Him. And whether or not we are praying from the bottom of our hearts and our deepest groanings over reciting the Lord's Prayer for the 10th time that day, and we're yawning in the middle, God hears our prayers. The state of your heart does not affect whether or not God hears prayer. And I find it very frustrating when anyone tries to tell a believer that their prayer was not sincere enough, or true enough, or they weren't open to hearing God. It disgusts me, because God has already promised to be heard. God can be heard every day in His Word, in the Bible. And anyone telling you that you have to listen for God's Word outside of where He's promised to put it in the Bible is lying and is trying to sell something. The question is, what are they selling? Mormons are good people because they have to be good people. Because if they're not, then they're not saved. Do you know what that means for their good works? They don't have good works. Because their good works are all for themselves, for their own salvation, not for their neighbor. They're not being altruistic. Good works require sacrifice, and not for others, or not for yourself. Good works are for others. Mormons are only being good to get into heaven. Because that's how they get there. It's the only way they get there. God saves you after all you can do. That doesn't sound like salvation to me. I used to be pretty ambivalent to the Mormons until like the last couple months when I actually started reading their book and I started talking to them on Twitter, which is agreeably a bad place to meet people and to talk to people because Twitter is a cesspool. But still, it's made me really realize how culty and how twisted this religion is. It's not Christianity. It's not. No matter how hard they wish it was. It's not. This is not how God works. Wow. My stream looks like a potato. My stream looks like a total potato. Potato stream! Anyway, okay. Well, that's all I got tonight. I don't know what time it is. What time is it? It's 10 o'clock. Yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got. Yeah, so that was chapter 3. Can't wait for the next 19 chapters to go with Nephi. And we get to the Americas when I just What have I gotten myself into? I don't want to do this. Okay. Anyway, all right. Well, that's all I got for stream tonight. So, yeah, that's where I'm gonna end it. Have a good evening and come back for Wednesday, gaming Wednesday. Don't know what we're gonna play yet, but we'll see. Maybe. Mm, hmm. I don't know. I don't know what I want to play. I guess I'll find out on Wednesday. Maybe more Warframe, maybe some Soulframe, maybe something not made by Digital Extremes, but we'll see. We'll see. All right. Anyway, have a good evening, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.